Closed captioning for Great Tastes is presented by Manitoba Mushroom Growers Association. Fresh, simple, good. Manitoba Liquor Mart presents Great Tastes of Manitoba. Great Tastes is brought to you by GreatTastesMB.ca. Local farms, local foods. Great Taste is sponsored by Manitoba Agriculture.
Another week has flown by, but here we are, time for another episode of Great Tastes of Manitoba. I'm your host, Des Daniels, and it's all about great grilling with Manitoba mushroom growers. So we have Heather Dybert here, and we're going to get your recipes in just a sec. Okay. But Ben Rush, Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries, I know you've got something good brewing, as usual. A little bit of a pun intended there. Heather, why don't you walk through what we're going to be grilling today?
Okay, it's all about mushrooms. They're the main feature of the day, and we are actually going to do some kebabs. Kebabs. Yep, some wonderful mushroom and vegetable kebabs with a couple basting sauces.
Awesome.
We're also going to do a barbecued balsamic mushroom salad.
Sounds
and
very
we're
promising.
Cook the mushrooms and put it on the salad, so that's something a little different. Yeah. And the third one is we're going to do a Portobello burger with goat cheese and some arugula for a bit of peppery.
That sounds awesome,
doesn't that sound
right?
delish? You don't want to go, I know.
I totally don't want to go.
But you have to go.
I did take your advice though and bought myself a mushroom brush, so I was really happy about it. Very excited.
Yes.
I'm a fan now, big fan. So I'm excited to try this because this kind of feels like it's going to be a party. So I'm going to get my party thinking hat on and come up with some clever ideas for the pairings.
Don't play with the mushroom brush too long. Get to the beverages. Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Okay. All right, here we go. I have to say that just before we started shooting here, I almost took a pepper and I almost ate it, and then I remembered, but they're so beautiful. Peak of the market vegetables. So we've got a wide variety of things here, but let's talk a little bit about the mushrooms we're using today, because it's a specific thing.
We are. Yeah, for this particular recipe, you can use white or cremini. We are actually going to be using some cremini when you and I put some kebabs together. They're very similar to white mushrooms, but they're a little denser in texture and they have a more intense flavor.
Okay, awesome. And so where do we begin here? We have skewers. You have the coolest tools.
We have lots of stuff to do today.
Okay.
So we're going to talk a bit about, we've talked about the mushrooms we're going to use. What else is recommended is that you use vegetables that are similar in texture and density.
Okay.
So that they all cook at the same time.
And size.
Right. Size and density cook at the same size.
So now I know that our particular kebabs are not going to have meat on them. If you wanted to put meat on the kebabs, would you put it on the same skewer or would you put it on a different skewer? How would you handle that?
I would put it on separate skewers.
Okay.
And the reason for that is to make sure that the meat is completely cooked to your liking, and as well as the vegetables aren't overcooked.
The veggies cook faster.
Yeah, they will cook faster.
All right.
So before we get started, we're just going to talk a bit about the different skewers that you can use. So we have metal
We can have like a sword fight
with
these.
Yep, so take your weapon.
Yep.
So these are some metal skewers that we're going to use. There is also wooden skewers that you can use. If you do choose to use the wooden skewers, you need to soak them in water.
Okay.
About an hour or two before you use them, just to ensure that they don't burn. They will char a bit, but they won't burn.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a strategy that we employ for this?
Well, of course, the main feature is the mushroom. So I would, of course, start with the mushroom.
Okay, let's start with the mushroom.
Take one of the mushrooms.
Okay.
And when you put it on, you're just going to skew it right up, just through the center.
Through the center?
Through the center.
All the way to the bottom of the handle?
All the way.
Okay.
And then it's your
Pick
whatever
at
you
will.
would like.
Okay.
So we've got some peppers. We have some zucchini.
Now, do we put the vegetables like right next to each other? I guess you have to give them a little bit of space to kind of
Give
cook
them a little
up,
bit of
hey?
space. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So some red onions, some zucchini, different colored. Use the different colored of peppers.
They look pretty.
Yeah.
Like they're so colorful.
Well, they are.
You know?
They're like a rainbow of colors, really.
It's great grilling.
Great grilling.
Let me tell ya.
Yeah. And again, so once you get the skewers made to your liking,
Okay.
then we've got a couple on that we can just show people what they will look like. And I'm just going to give these a turn.
So what do you have in your hand? You and your
Yes.
cool, it's like a silicone castanet.
It
It
is.
actually makes a sound.
It's actually a little silicone, what is it?
Like an oven mitt.
A little oven mitt that I'm using. And it's nice and small so it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I'm going to do is we're just going to put our new ones right on beside the ones that we've got cooking.
Yeah, so we've kind of got the two going there.
And then what we're going to talk about now is we have some basting sauces that, of course, are going to add flavor.
You've got two different ones today that
Yes.
you're going to show us.
Yeah, and what I've done, I've already put one together. This is the basic herb and garlic sauce. And again, I've just used basil. You can use any fresh herb that you like. Switch it up if you want to use oregano, thyme, and it gives it a new flavor.
Well, that's the brilliance of mushrooms, is that really they're just so adaptable to
Yes.
whatever flavors you like. So if you prefer basil to oregano, then
Yep.
you can do that, and
Then
vice versa. So
Yep.
awesome.
And the second one is an Asian marinade. And so this one basically has some hoisin sauce, soya sauce, a little bit of oil in
Probably
it.
some ginger in there, I
Yep,
expect.
and we're going to add some rice vinegar. So just it's all about a tablespoon.
So, and the other thing I was wondering is because a lot of times you marinate things ahead of time, but we're actually just going to put it on top. So what's
Yep.
is there a difference, or it really doesn't matter?
You know, if you're marinating, usually it's more of an intense flavor, and it's sometimes marinating is for tenderizing.
Okay,
of
so
course
more
the
with the meat.
vegetables, yeah, the vegetables are fine.
Don't really need that.
No.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you the whisk.
Awesome.
And I'll just add some garlic, some nice fresh chopped garlic, and ginger.
Smells good.
And again, these are some nice, really flavorful
Oh.
Asian. So you know what? Why don't we use that one?
Okay.
So I'll give you the basting brush.
I
And
have the basting brush.
the kabobs, once you make them,
one
what
are
I
you
also
doing?
do the ones that
Okay.
have already been on, and you're just basically going to baste them throughout the cooking. They take about 8 to 10 minutes to cook.
Is that
Watch
that
out-
okay what I'm
Yep,
doing?
watch
Yeah?
out for flares.
Okay.
That's why it's nice. It's a nice long
Oh, yeah.
handle.
Okay, great.
Keeps you safe.
Okay.
And we'll just turn it as we go. You can match the flavor of the basting sauce to the flavors of what else you're serving in the meal. Another tip is these do not take very long, about 8 to 10 minutes.
That was my next question.
Sometimes what you can do if you're serving them alongside a meat is while your meat is resting, your meat should always be taken off and rest.
Right.
Cook your vegetables.
That's your time to
And
shine
then
with
you're
the veggies.
sure your meat is cooked, your vegetables aren't overcooked,
Okay.
and you have a wonderful flavor.
Well, again, mushrooms taking on that flavor of everything that's around them. They're
Yes.
so adaptable, and so that's why our next recipe is going to be so exciting. We're doing up a salad, again with mushrooms. Great grilling here on Great Taste of Manitoba.
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, brought to you in part by Manitoba Liquor Mart. Enjoy responsibly.